Let's speak now to Jon-Carlos Evans. He's a filmmaker, artist and writer based in Berlin. Thanks so much for coming on the programme. Was HBO right to remove Gone with the Wind? What do you think?
I'd say it's a step in the right direction, but moves don't mean anything without further actions. So while it's on the outside, it looks great because it shows that they are taking some efforts to listen to concerns about people who see the film and realize that it is completely manipulative and that it is propaganda. But they have to still go another step further in terms of using it as a teaching tool, because the way it exists now, if anyone watches it without context, it is just this highly saturated, sweeping music.
And how do they do that, Jon-Carlos? How do they give it that extra context and go that step further?
I mean, it's possible to show it in conjunction with a panel speaking about the realities of that time period instead of something that is a complete fantasy. Like Gone with the Wind, as it exists now, it's the equivalent of taking Schindler's List, putting it in color, and then having the Jews willingly help and lament the decline of the Third Reich. It's the same context, the same grand manipulation. So in that sense, it is propaganda, and it has to be presented in a way where people can watch it and learn that it's a product of its time in that sense. And so we have to look at it from the point of view of the dominant society and what their mindset was.
And what of the argument that John Ridley, Oscar-winning scriptwriter of 12 Years a Slave, he says, as a filmmaker, I get that movies are snapshots of moments in history. He does say much more after this quote. But that idea that it is a snapshot in history.
Mm-hmm. And it is, but if any snapshot in history has to be seen and interpreted with context. If you watch just any fragment of history or read any piece of a historical text, you're still missing everything that happened before it that led to that moment, and then everything that developed afterwards. So it's really important to present it with a context, with someone that understands history and someone that can also teach empathy, because that film in itself, it's just grand entertainment, and it's lamenting something that was actually terrible for the majority of the people involved.
Mm-hmm. Jon-Carlos, what happens next for TV, for film, for streaming? Because also the reality TV show Cops was also cancelled. Mm-hmm. Where does this go next?
Yeah, I mean, now it's more than that, because everything that we are wanting to change on a global scale within ourselves as human beings, and even with how we interact as a society, culture just reflects that. So as soon as we can really fix what we have going in terms of trying to dismantle a global capitalist, white supremacist global structure, then all of these pieces, the films, the music, the propaganda that is created because of this, even things that are taught to kids as historical texts, are often written in a way that is propaganda. The way we learn American history is propaganda. The way the British learn British history doesn't focus so much on the colonial aspects and the traumas that this provided, but it only focuses on, the winner. History is written from the winner's point of view. So now we want to make sure that we can show that the humanity, we as a species, have such a long history that we can't just focus on the winners of one specific period of time, because we have all been winners and losers of different wars.
Indeed. Jon-Carlos Evans, it was a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much.